The dwelling of the dead. When looking around San Pedro, it seems to be in a city organised in sectors and neighbourhoods in the shade of trees and surrounding the square. The tombs are similar to houses. The galleries are arranged in several floors like the buildings. Can you recognise the old and modern styles, large and small? They are like our houses, clean, organised and waiting to be visited. We invite you to visit the galleries of San Pablo Sur and Los Dolores. Observe how the San Pedro Cemetery is similar to a city built to house our dead, a necropolis with all the urban and architectural elements to give a place for death. Its landscape and urban layout invite us to stroll around to tour scenarios of representation and tributes to the memory of what was life. A necropolis populated by signs and symbols, dialogues in a mirror with the world of the living, a city within a city. This dialogue of mirrors that is established between both cities is not static nor in a single sense, because the city of the living that is in permanent change marks a language and a context that is reflected in the dwelling of the dead. There are vaults, mausoleums, funerary monuments located in streets, squares and galleries. There are also tombs, temples distributed by sectors and districts ordered around a founding centre presided over by a chapel similar to the neighbourhoods of the city. In the gallery of the periphery, there is a density of vertical growth similar to residential units of small apartments, and the majority rented, following the rhythm of the real estate dynamics of the capital of Antioquia. The reality of the city of the living appears like shouts of the truth in the dwelling of the dead. The San Pedro Cemetery buries innumerable murdered youths, members of the Barras Bravas, soccer fanatics, or armed forces, martyrs for passionate causes, unknown corpses, members of neighbourhood militias, and victims of revenge or intolerance, to the unsuspecting who cross some invisible border, and to many other instances of this prolonged violence suffered by the city. We cannot hide this reality. The cemetery tells the truth, a truth that in other aspects is intended to disguise or deny. It should be noted that in the dimensions, proportions, materials and ornamentation of the tombs, the clear social differences can be seen, as in other cemeteries. With this, it is possible to recognize that stratification and social divergence does not end with death. An indicator reveals it with transparency, that in spite of the minimal resources of the majority of the population that occupy the peripheral galleries, there they express abundantly their love and life, full of colour, flowers, photographs, images, stories, and infinite messages, a large social sector in need of communicating and expressing their emotions, offered and allowed generously and paradoxically in the space of death. This aspect does not occur in the central courtyard, where most of the monuments remain silent and lonely. Where will your dreams and your memory be? Everyone here has a place. The scene of death will be the propitious space for reconciliation. Thank you for visiting our cemetery museum.